Hello, I'm Wade Nomura, and this is Rotary Serving Our Community. One of the interesting things that Rotary does each and every year is they have an international convention, and it is held throughout the world in all different locations. This year we had the privilege of going to Hamburg, Germany. For me, it was my very first trip, and also a first trip for one of our president-elects. This is Kim Fly. So Kim Fly, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a Carpinterian. I've lived in Carpinteria almost my whole life, and I was introduced to Rotary through both of my parents. My mother was involved in the Carpinteria Club. I don't remember exactly what year, but my father, he was in Raton, New Mexico. He became a Rotarian in 1998, was the president in 2001, 2002 year. And then he passed away in 2009 while he was a Rotarian.
So, did you ever live in Raton? Never
For
knew
3
that.
months. I went and lived there for 3 months.
Okay,
and I went to some Rotary meetings.
Did you? The reason I was asking, I was there as a 12-year-old. Actually went to Raton and Cimarron, New Mexico for the Philmont Scout Camp.
Yeah.
Have you ever been there?
I've driven right by it, but I wasn't a scout, so I never went into the ranch.
Got it.
Yeah.
And we also have Debbie Murphy, your mother and past president of our club also. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been in Carpinteria for many, many years, like the 70s, and have been involved with Rotary for quite some time. I've been in this club for 11 years, and I've actually been to 4 Rotary conventions.
Okay.
And I'm really proud that Kim is going to be the Rotary president of our club this year.
That's right. Great. Which were the other ones that you went to, conventions?
I was in Osaka and Chicago and Lisbon, and now Hamburg, Germany.
Wow. So you have quite a few years between each of them. So you
yeah.
get to see the transitions
Yeah,
there.
yes. Yeah.
So Osaka, that was in what year?
That's a really good question.
It's been a while though, right?
Yeah,
That was a while
maybe
back.
super early 2000s?
Probably
before that. It was in the 90s.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
in the 90s.
That's
Okay.
right, yeah.
'Cause that was before I was in Rotary, so wow, great, good for you. And what did you see as a difference, the transitions of the 4? Did you notice anything different, or was it just the locations that were unique?
I'm just always in awe of how many people come to the event. Just thousands and thousands of Rotarians from all over the world, and they come dressed in their traditional garb from their countries, and it's just inspiring to see so many people. You just think of yourself in your little club doing things in a community, and then when you see all of that, you realize what we do is happening all over the world.
Great.
It's really beautiful.
Good, good.
Yeah.
And Kim, for you, what made you decide on going to the convention this year?
Well, it was my term to be president, and I should definitely jump in and check it out. I had been on the outskirts of the Chicago one as a visitor during that convention, but not actually in the convention hall.
Okay. Oh, outside.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you're kind of
So
a
I did
tourist
see
there.
a lot of people from all over the world there, but I didn't get to be a part of the convention.
Got it. Okay. Oh, interesting.
And
Very
how many
interesting.
conventions have you been to, Wade?
I think 13. Yeah.
Wow.
I missed 2 when Roxanne was ill. I had to miss Sao Paulo and Seoul, Korea.
Okay.
But all the other ones since Chicago I've been to. Yeah.
Okay.
And again, all unique, all interesting.
And what have you seen changed over the years?
Good question on that one. Most of it kind of follows the same format. I think it's more important, the transition for me was the interest of areas, getting to travel internationally, getting to see areas that I had never been to before, including Hamburg, Germany, first time for me in Germany. But I think the transition for me, more than being in different areas and seeing the change in the conventions, is that my network of friends become greater. And as we become bigger internationally, we have more opportunities for this reunion. So every year, the reunion happens at the International Convention, where I'll meet back with 200, 300, 400 people that I've met from around the world each and every year. And we plan on doing that. So I think that's the biggest part.
And it was shocking to actually run into you, just walking around there. How many people were at the convention? 20,000?
Yeah, there's about 24,
And
25,000.
the odds that we would run into Wade Nomura at the convention in something other than our small group meetings was ridiculous. But
Very, very true.
but-
For me, the general sessions are ones that I usually miss. I only went to the opening and to the closing because everything else was meeting time. So that was interesting. How about you, Kim? Did you make all of the general sessions?
I did not.
Okay.
Yeah,
Which
we-
ones fascinated you of the sessions?
Well, we went to the opening session,
Okay.
and then we went to classes, and that's what we did.
Okay.
And then didn't get to go to another session.
Okay.
So we didn't have a full experience, I guess, is the
Oh,
whole.
no,
you know.
you did. I think the opening one's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
beautiful.
I think personally the opening and closing are, and I hope they cut this out and edit, but those two are probably the best of the sessions, the opening and the closer.
Okay.
Enjoyed both of those. Good.
Well, I
So-
really enjoyed just like connecting with people that were from our area too.
That's
Then you're
true.
seeing them in another world and another, experience, and you get to
That's a good
run
point.
into them on a street in a foreign country. It's
Okay.
wow, it's amazing.
That is very good. So I brought some pictures that we could reflect back on, and we have some time. I want to go over some of the things that you
Oh,
brought
good.
with you.
Good.
So we'll start in with the pictures first. And with that, the first photo we have is actually a photo of a big party that we had. This was a district party. And if you want, you could tell us a little bit about your experience at a district party with people coming in from all 4 counties.
Well, it was like going to Oktoberfest in June in Germany. People were so excited from other countries. There was a group from Taiwan next to us that were jumping and screaming and guzzling beer like crazy. They were so thrilled to be there. And then it kind of got us a little revved up, and we started standing on our benches and having a good time because it was so hot in there. And
Right. Now this picture is taken with the coastal view, which we do as a tradition. This way we get into the local magazine newspaper. So this is all a bunch of Carpinterias that we ended up with, which is great.
It was surprising to see the outside of that building, which looked like a small restaurant. And then as we walked in, we walked by groups of 50 and 100 Rotarians over and over again in different parts of the restaurant, trying to find our group, which was, well, no one was actually there, so we couldn't find them.
That's
But
true.
we were early. But
At the time we were there were actually 5 different Rotary
yeah,
groups in
yeah,
that
it was
restaurant.
amazing. It was amazing. Yeah.
So the next picture we have is actually us sitting down with some of the people there. And I remember it was pretty crowded. We had over 100 people, I think, from
Yeah.
our district
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And they gave us 90 spots, so we were scrambling for seats there. But it was a good time. For you, did you get to meet some new people, some different faces, friends from around the district?
yeah, and I really appreciated meeting people's significant others,
Oh,
because
that's
people,
true. Yeah.
it was Rotarians, but then they had family with them, and it was nice to connect with them and find out, who's the other people in their lives.
Right.
And just a simple thing like that dinner, I know will create relationships, that will create grants, that will create fabulous things happening in the world just from
True.
some crazy thing like a dinner.
That
in
is true,
Germany.
because the partnerships become a lot
Yeah.
easier with the networking. Picture of you two here.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good. This was, I believe, before food, because it took 2 hours to get our food, right?
It did take 2
Yeah,
hours
so you're looking pretty
before
hungry there,
they
both
brought
of you.
the food.
Ready to go.
That's us sitting up on top of the seats, yeah.
And here's another picture with Kim, taking a picture with the incoming president, Mark
Yep.
Maloney. That was good. Now, what do you think about the experience of actually having Mark just randomly show up? the
Well, he
international
randomly
president?
showed up at our district event too, so
This
it's
is
like
true.
he likes us, I think. here.
This is true. He does like you. They were actually having a meeting next door with 400 of the zone people. He's from the southeast corner of the United States. And because there are 400 of them there, he did, I'm friends with Mark, so he says, well, show me your district.
Oh,
let me
nice.
come by and see everybody. So he made it a point. So it was great. He's very outward, very nice
Yeah.
man.
I like that you always bring the big wigs around.
Well, it's good to meet the international leadership. That helps. Yeah, okay, and a picture of the food. We want to talk about the food?
When the food finally
the-
got there, that was crazy. Those were pork knuckles, I believe is what they're called. They might be called Einsbein, but that might be a different form of pork knuckle. It was delicious, ridiculously good. There was more food than we needed.
That one tray would feed 30 people, and it was served to 8 people.
Right, this is
Yeah.
true. And at 2 hours, half the people had left. So
Yes, that's true.
we
That
had
was
to
a
eat
bit of a
twice as
problem.
much.
Yeah.
And actually, I think there's chicken underneath there, too.
There was so much stuff hidden under that pork that we didn't even know until the end of the meal.
Yeah, there was knockwurst, potatoes, sauerkraut, fish, some chicken
That's
nuggets. They had
right.
all sorts of things
That's
underneath
right.
it.
And
You
even
couldn't
some
see it.
starch. There's some potato in there, I think.
There was somewhere. And one woman actually took bags of it to take out to homeless people.
This is one of my friends who actually ran into each other in Hamburg, Germany. We actually ran together in track. So this is Ramsey
When?
J. Back in high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so he's in Rotary. He's actually, I think, in Rotary before I was.
And where is he located now?
He's down in the Santa Paula area.
Okay.
So he's a member of the Santa Paula Club.
Right.
So that's where I met him at Santa Paula Club. Hadn't seen him for about 4 or 5 years. So it's funny, even high school people get back together
Yeah.
in these odd international trips.
Yeah.
This is a picture of the hall, the actual general session. The first one, it was the
There
opening
were so
one.
many people in that room.
There was, and believe it or not, there's actually 2 of those.
I know.
So there's 2 opening
And
sessions.
both were, well, sold out is probably not the right word,
Yeah.
because it's not like we had to buy an extra ticket to get in there, but both rooms were so packed people had to leave. It was so many people.
There were actually 10,000 seats in that hallway.
Were there?
For each session.
Wow.
So, and they filled up to 10,000 both
Okay.
times. So that was impressive. And there was an overflow area also.
The most impressive thing about that general session was watching the young Rotarians, who are the youth scholars, carry in the flags of every country that is in Rotary.
That is true.
And
Yeah.
announce them.
And announce them and honor them. It was so beautiful. It made
Yeah.
me cry. Yeah.
That is tradition. That happens each and
Yeah.
every year. And every year it's just as emotional.
It is.
Seeing those flags
Yeah.
and seeing how big.
You're hearing little groups of
Rotary
people
is.
in the room cheering for their country
Yeah,
all over this
that's true.
10,000 people room.
Very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
And this again is a picture of the opening. Haresh is past district governor from Barry's, President Barry's district. So that's why he was the MC for the event. Did a great job.
He did.
He's in
Great job.
entertainment, as
Yeah.
you probably figured out. But a lot of Barry's team was actually on stage. This is the lounge. I don't know if you had a chance to go into the lounge, which is a second room. It's actually off the main one there. And they had drinks, food, all kinds of things. You could order and do whatever you want. It was air conditioned better than the other place
Really?
was. So that's what I found
Yeah.
out.
Missed
of
that.
course, on the last day, but
It was the overflow place.
it was
Yeah.
the overflow place. And some of the VIPs actually sat in there
Okay.
for the first part. Again, some of the seats there, you had seating that had food that you could order from, drinks, pretty much everything. They had lounge chairs, sofas, everything. And then in the front, they had actual sitting areas.
Now you tell us about that.
Yeah, next time if they have it, we'll have to go. This is the House of Friendship.
But that's before people were in there. That looks really empty.
This was when we were setting up. I actually was working in 3 of the different booths. So
Okay.
I took an early picture because it was easy to get this picture, even though, as you say, there are not 100 people in each aisleway, so you could actually walk through it
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
Yeah. But there are 2 halls, which was
Right.
interesting. It's
Yes.
the first time we actually had 2
Oh,
halls.
was it? Okay, yeah. There was a lot of stuff to see.
There was a lot to see, and I believe, from what I heard, Hawaii is going to be the same way.
Okay.
We'll also have that. In the House of Friendship, we had the preparing for the next international convention in Hawaii,
We stopped by there.
and this is the host organizing committee. And they were there promoting it, getting signups and pushing people into signups. Now, I could officially say this now because it's probably going to be aired a little bit later. But in Honolulu, Hawaii, there's only going to be 25,000. They're going to cap it at that
Oh,
because
okay.
of the size of the venue.
Oh, yes.
As of Hamburg, Germany, on the last day, there were already 15,000 people signed up. So,
Oh, my goodness.
yeah. So,
Okay.
just to let you people
Yeah.
know, jump in there early and
Yeah,
get the
get
signups
there.
going.
And I think it'll be hard to get a hotel room unless people book now.
2/3 to 3/4 of hotel rooms are already booked also.
Okay.
So everything's going
Okay.
extremely fast. One of the opportunities I had was actually to meet with some of the people there. This is a group from India, and actually at that point in time, we were preparing and signing a global grant to do projects there.
Oh, okay.
So this is done in conjunction with the Rotary Club of Bakersfield.
Okay.
So
and
we-
what kind of grant is it?
This
What
one
are you
here is
helping?
educational.
Okay.
It's all about supporting schools. There are about, I believe, 15 to 20,000 students that have been benefited from this project. And this is a series of grants.
Okay,
So
good.
it's a great one. But you get to meet people that you never get to see anywhere else.
Yeah.
Which was nice. Now, question to you: did you meet anybody there? Somebody that you think you'll be able to stay connected with?
The Rags,
Okay.
what was his, I don't remember his name.
Rotary Action Groups.
Yeah,
Yes.
but the man that kind of started Rags, he was we had a long conversation with him, and
Okay.
that's the Rotary Action Group for Endangered Species.
Oh, yeah, right.
It was really good. And it was surprising to find out that within that group was our, the people that are in our club in Guatemala are actually part of that group because they are saving the bees
Saving
in
the
Guatemala.
Bees, which
Yeah.
actually started in Chile.
Oh, did it?
Our club in
Chile.
Chile actually started
Okay.
it. It was adopted by us and by Guatemala. Guatemala took it on.
Yeah, so that was pretty
Roma,
amazing to
which
meet
is
the man
amazing.
and find out that we were already part of it. It was awesome.
That is good. Good
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
This is another opportunity we have. We get to meet with international staff people we don't get to meet on a regular basis. We have Marcelo there from Brazil, and Tusu actually is from Nigeria. So we got to meet together. We usually speak by phone. We're in completely different time zones, so we never know who's up at what point in time. So this is always a good opportunity where we get to meet with those people. These are the ones responsible for the Rotary Foundation cadre changes. So this change is going to occur at the international level where we will actually be serving as assistants for clubs and districts to do global grants.
Great.
So that's going to be
Great.
the new change that we're looking at right now. Okay, here we go. We're going to
Now
jump
you're in
into,
Hamburg.
Yeah, we're jumping into Hamburg. So tell us a little bit about the, did you get a chance to ride on those canals?
We did. We went on an evening cruise. It was quite beautiful, and we ended up on the cruise with a lot of people from our district. It was just random that that they were also on this cruise.
I
It
think
was
we tried to
beautiful.
get you on it too, but
I
Scott
ended
was
up-
trying to get you on the trip.
Yeah, unfortunately I hadn't ended up with meetings, which
Yeah.
kind of happens for me, but I'm glad you guys got to enjoy that.
Yeah, it was good.
So did you hear a little bit about the canals and the waterways on?
It was amazing how much water is in Germany. First of all.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was
Was that
amazed
you
by
that told me it was Hamburg was 1/3 water?
Really? No, I didn't. But that's
I
amazing.
heard that it's 1/3 water, 1/3 open space or parks, and 1/3 residential and buildings. It was a perfect 1/3 mix. The canals were actually developed way back in, I think it was the 1800s. They used the water to actually build the city.
Oh,
And
okay.
so they, instead of bringing in boats, instead of bringing in trains and wagons, they actually used the waterways to build the city up.
One of the things I loved about Germany was their public transportation. And in Hamburg,
Yeah.
you had the
That
public
is true.
transportation of the waterways as well. And since we had our Rotary badges on, we could get on any of the transportation anywhere.
One of the huge advantages,
Yes,
as you know, going
huge
to
deal.
international conventions, they usually organize it where we always have access to the public transportation.
Yeah, it was good.
It is good. This is a picture I took of one of it's a burned out chapel, and I guess it shows some sort of significance for the history of the area. But it stands out, and it was huge, right in the middle of town. So I just took the picture because it was dramatic. You can
Yeah.
see it from everywhere. And again, some of the waterways, and I don't know if you noticed, but there's a high and low tide that occurs there. This is at low tide, extreme low tide, and that I guess it's a barge area there actually hit all the way down to the ground when the water went out.
That's amazing.
It is. It's usually about
The buildings were big there. They were all
Yeah.
8, 10 stories tall.
true. That is very
And
true.
but it left so much more open space.
Green space
Yeah,
everywhere.
Where we kind of have a theory here of like shorter, spread out more, and I wonder sometimes if we're missing out on our public spaces.
True.
Yeah.
True. They are able to condense that for more public space. Okay, we're going to go through these really quick because our incoming governor made me go to the red light district just to get pictures and see what it looks like. So
Just for pictures.
Exactly. Fortunately, I was able to shoot some PG shots here, so just to give you a quick view of what it'll look like there. And I said I was going to do this to our governor, Sabi, because I could.
Okay, that's good.
And one of the traditions, I don't know if it's just in Europe or in Germany or what, but they put locks on all of these bridges as they
I've
go
actually
over.
seen it around the world. I saw it in China.
I have too, yeah,
yeah.
I've seen it too. I've seen some in Japan and
A lot of
number
times
other
with like a
areas.
marriage ceremony, people will
Right,
put a lock
but
on there.
Just about every bridge had these.
Yeah.
Some of the other pictures, and I was going through, I must have saw tens of thousands of these locks, and the one that stood out to me was this one.
Oh, that's
I just
amazing.
happened to walk by and see that one. And it just jumped out right at me and got me, so I took a
Rotary.
picture of
Yeah,
it, right?
good.
In the middle of the town, way far away from the convention center. Some of the promotionals, I don't know if you noticed or not, but pretty much all of Hamburg had these pictures showing and storyboards promoting Rotary.
Yeah, I felt very welcome there.
This is Scott Phillips from our district and his mother Jan, and there's a couple of pictures we saw on a pretty regular basis. They talked about it. First one was in German, and then the next one, of course, in English.
Yeah, and the flags were everywhere.
The flags were everywhere, and they're beautiful. By the way, I took a picture of this one only because it's kind of reflective of the area, Hamburg. Really unique area.
Yeah.
And I guess, is that the one you actually
I have that one blowing.
Okay, so we're going to get that one, and we're going to show it here shortly. So we're going to put that one in so we can see it. And for me, one of the areas I had to walk through on public transportation, they dropped us off on the other side of the community garden.
Oh, so this is
So
that
I had
beautiful
to
garden that
walk-
you got to walk
I had
through.
to walk through the garden every day.
Oh, nice.
And it was probably close to half a mile across
Yeah,
that thing.
it was big.
Beautiful. They had a Japanese garden. So, of course, I had to stop and get
Yeah.
pictures of this Japanese garden. And that's pretty much it for the slides that we have. So we do have some time. Let's run through what you brought back.
Well, it wasn't a bunch. It was just walking through the Friendship Hall. There was goodies kind of everywhere, like
Okay.
Rotary goodies. Like this is a Rotary End Polio Now. And then also pins, and you could,
Let's hold that for the camera.
they were selling pins and shirts and everything
Nice.
of gear that you could get for Rotary all over. Socks
Socks.
with a new theme.
True. And what did you think about the House of Friendship? Other than the vendors, wasn't it pretty fascinating, the people you meet there?
Yeah, I really loved the people that did Shelter Box.
Oh, yeah.
And any of those ones that were relief organizations that went into where disasters were and
True.
Wherever it was a tsunami or an earthquake or a hurricane, wherever they were going.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you could tell Rotary just shows up and takes care of things. It was, it's just really inspiring. It's so inspiring, all the different projects that people were there and distributing things about their projects. It was great. For some reason, I got the food products. I don't know why.
I think that's always, isn't it?
Maybe so. Someone gave me teas from somewhere in
Sri Lanka. I think we
Ceylon,
all got those.
Sri Lanka.
Is that from Sri Lanka?
I think so.
Okay, that's probably from Robbie.
Pure
there.
Ceylon tea. I
From what I understand, Ravi Ravindran, past international president, actually
This is
has,
Ravi here, yes. That's
has
his picture on
the
the back there.
largest.
Is that Ravi? It's hard to say. It's a small picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he is the largest. What does he do? He actually makes wraps for those
Okay.
for the teas.
Oh, yes.
And so he is the largest manufacturer in the world for doing that part of it.
So
making-
they were just
making
handing
wraps.
these out to everyone who came by the booth. I'm like, okay, I'll take some tea. And then there was another company that, a Rotary group that was selling these chocolates. And I bought them because they were supporting something. I don't remember right now
Okay.
what wonderful thing they were doing, but it seemed like something I could bring back to our
Let's
Rotary Club.
Hold that up and put
Sure.
that in place there.
Yeah. So it
Nice,
was something
nice.
that I thought I could bring back to our Rotary Club as a raffle item and support what they were doing.
Good idea.
Yeah. And then one of the funny things we got was one of the groups was handing out badges that said, "I love Bakersfield." Which, here we were in Hamburg,
think I
and
got
we
one of
picked up
those.
2 of those, and we brought them back to 2 people in our club that are from Bakersfield, and they
good.
were so happy.
Who are those in our club?
Carrie
Carrie
and
and
Donette.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah, yeah.
That is good.
Yeah.
The badges were from Kwan.
Oh, I did
from
get one from
Bakersfield.
Kwan. Yeah,
Yeah.
that came
Yeah,
from
exactly.
Kwan. That's correct. So tell us a little bit about your experience. What did you take away from it? What do you remember most about the International Convention?
That we can make a difference as an individual. You can make a difference in the world through, humanitarian effort, and even through things that I enjoy, like animals, endangered species, that might actually support a community by having, something that, an animal viewing area that maybe supports a whole community.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That is true. How about you, Debbie? What makes you keep going back?
I was struck by this one exhibit. There were these beautiful clear globes, maybe this big around, and they were taking seawater and using sunshine to make pure water. And all it took was solar power to do it. And I work on the sanitary district in Carpinteria, which also works with the water district, and people are always looking for water. And here we live next to the ocean, and this man had invented these fabulous things where you could actually produce many gallons of water a day just with these globes sitting on a beach. It was just kind of wondrous, and to think that people out there invent these things and then they have some partner in Rotary that helps get them promoted. It was just a good plan.
That is good.
Everything is really good for the planet that I saw.
Good.
Yeah.
And how about you? You planning on going back? Doing another one?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about, are you going to Hawaii?
I'm thinking Hawaii and I'm thinking Houston. And I don't remember the one in between.
Taiwan.
Okay.
There's Taiwan,
interesting.
Houston, and then the one after Houston actually has been announced. It's going to be in Melbourne, Australia.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, I know who's going to that.
a good possibility. Very good. Actually, I'm hoping to make all of those coming up because each and every one of them are going to be pretty special.
And what moves you about the conventions?
I think it's being able to connect with the international people that I've met throughout the world. What's fascinating is you and I ran into each other there a few times. We've all ran into each other, but I also ran into those international people that I hadn't seen maybe since the project 10 years ago, 15 years ago. One of the people I remember running into was a past governor from Belize, and he was the first governor to invite me in as a speaker for their convention, their conference.
Okay.
And so I got to go there, and I just happened to run into him. So we don't stay in contact all that much, but when we see each other, it's always very cordial when we get to have dinner out or sit down and talk.
Did you lead a class there?
I actually led 5 sessions.
Okay.
But thanks for asking.
Okay.
Yes, I did. I was in charge of a lot of the training for the foundation.
Okay.
Okay. And we're kind of running out of time on this one, so thank you both very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And I hope to see you again, not only at the club, but at the upcoming conventions.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Wade.
Thanks
Thanks
you.
for doing
Thank you
this.
very much. And with that, everybody, take a look at the international conventions, see what they have to offer, but more importantly, plan on going to meet people and see how international Rotary really is. With that, thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next time.